welcome all to this first inaugural. I knew I was going to get it wrong.
Yeah, it was going to be bad.
Because I'm just saying first, but
inaugural.
You since you insist, inaugural show.
That's right. Exciting.
The Lyons Pulse.
Exciting.
This is wonderful. I'm excited. This is the first of many.
That's right. A show all about our fair city,
Lyons, Georgia.
Absolutely.
I'm your host, the Doc, and I have a co-host.
Wingman.
The Wingman.
I want to be the
wingman. The one and the only, Jason Hall.
That's right. This is exciting. We need an applause track.
Hey, man, this feels great.
It does. I like it.
Well, it's been a long time in the making,
We've done a few shows together.
Yeah, you've come on the show,
yeah.
Community Matters, and
usually
you normally take over, right? So this kind of just evolved and morphed into what this had to be.
That's right. I like it.
So it's the Lyons Pulse, everybody, and we're here, and we're going to be bringing to you every third Thursday of the month. We're going to be bringing to you those things that are happening in our beautiful, great, the best in the world community, right. Lyons, Georgia.
Love it. Been here. I'm celebrating 10 years. 10 years.
Oh, man.
In Lyons. This
One
month,
whole
April,
decade.
10 years.
As long as I've known you, it feels like it's been longer than that.
It does feel like so much longer. It feels like I've been here all my life.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, that's it?
It is.
Been knowing you all my life.
So since we're starting in April, we've got to catch up from the first of the year.
From the first of the year.
And it seems like since January, all we've talked about is Soapbox Derby.
That's all we've talked about. It's been Soapbox Derby. When you think of Lyons, Georgia, you think Soapbox Derby.
Yep. Because it's on the tower. I mean, you drive into town.
Mm-hmm.
You're coming from Vidalia. You're coming across. You see the onion on top of the courthouse.
Yeah.
And you see the Soapbox Derby on the top of the water tower.
Yeah.
So I think we started this year with a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it. All about Soapbox Derby and how it brings families together. Mm-hmm. And 90% of it was shot right here in
the city limits of Lyons.
Yep.
The movie Blue Lightning.
That's right.
And it premiered right here in Lyons.
In the Blue Marquee.
At the Blue Marquee.
Yeah.
Blue Lightning and the
Blue Lightning and the Blue Marquee.
What are the odds?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then right after that was the Soapbox Derby pageant.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Probably I have heard more positive remarks about this year's pageant.
Mm-hmm.
Not any push against anybody who did the pageants before, but I think it's just timing and the environment.
Absolutely.
And the fact that Soapbox Derby is
it's
prominent
right now. And so, it is what's talked about in our community, so that brings more light to the subject.
Agree. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, myself and our special guest today and a few other dignitaries trudged our way to the capital city of Atlanta, Georgia, and sat with our representative as she presented a bill to change the section of our state code to make the Southeast Georgia Soapbox Derby the official Soapbox Derby of Georgia.
Right. Absolutely.
Right along with the official Possum of Georgia. $5 to anybody who can name the Possum of Georgia. Go.
Oh, no. I lose on this one.
Yeah,
Pogo the Possum.
Yeah, okay. I really would have guessed that.
No, you wouldn't have guessed that. But yeah, so if this bill next year gets to where it needs to be, Southeast Georgia Soapbox Derby in Lyons, Georgia, will be in the official code of Georgia.
Yeah.
So exciting news. And then at the end of this month is the large annual local race.
That's right.
That brings people from our community together at Parton Park for a great event. Great event. So yeah, we've got a special guest today.
Yes, we do.
Introduce the man.
He
needs no introduction.
He needs no introduction. This man is right here, born and bred in Lyons, Georgia, Toombs County.
Yes, sir.
His family is prominent here. We have Gordon Enterprises.
Gordy.
I'm sorry, Gordy Enterprises. And in the making is Gordy Tire and Brake.
Yep.
It is the one and the only, the debonair himself.
Oh, here we go.
Debonair. I love these words.
You know what I mean?
I love these words.
Mr. Jonathan
We're going to call that an oxymoron is what we're going to call that.
Well, Jonathan, you know, it's all in the, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
There you go. My wife must love me, because I tell you right now, I don't see how she looks at me.
I met your wife,
every day.
I met Tony's wife, and I met my wife, obviously. We all outkicked our yard.
Yeah, we did.
Yes,
we did.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, Jonathan, it's good to have you in the studio with us. And look,
it's
man,
a privilege to be
you
here.
are making history.
I hope
You are opening up this first.
Absolutely.
Here it is. Inaugural.
Lyons Pulse.
Lyons Pulse.
I'm glad y'all doing this show, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's good to
Get
have
Lyons
you.
needs something like this.
Getting to the heartbeat of the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So tell us, Jonathan, what is happening? I mean, we've got the Soapbox Derby. A lot of people may or may not, as much as is it in the news and as much as how prevalent it is.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Soapbox Derby.
So Soapbox Derby is just a way of, it's a racing competition.
Mm-hmm.
It is the primitive race form. Gravity racing. So we use gravity.
No engines, no gas.
No engines, no gas,
Wow.
no
No
nothing.
solar power.
Clean.
That's right.
Yep.
Fun.
That's right. Clean fun. We use it to help build bonds between parents and children.
Wow.
I know for me and my youngest son Noah, not long ago we were on Community Matters with
Community
you.
Matters.
I got to elaborate a little bit about how that's helped us bond
And
as father and
it
son.
was so good, Jonathan, because one thing I remember from that segment was the sparkle in Noah's eye as he talked about how he's not as athletic as your other son, and this became a bonding, event, where the two of you. He was kind of proud that he had you kind of to himself.
That's right.
And it gave him a leg up because he was excited about racing that car.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He, it's just like I said, it's been a great bonding experience between he and I. He's my little buddy, he's growing like a wild weed, and I told him the other day, you promised me you was gonna stay little, and that ain't happened. So, but life goes on. But soapbox racing really, for a lot of parents, they start. Just take for instance, they start coaching their kid in t-ball and things such as that. Well, eventually you get to a point where you're not the coach anymore.
You can't be.
Right. You can't be the coach anymore because they need more instruction.
They start high school, and
that's right. That's right. Well,
you sound like you're speaking from experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
I saw reminiscing.
That's right. I did.
Right. And so with soapbox racing, I've had to learn a lot. I've had a lot of other dads and moms that know about soapbox racing pour into me to teach me how to better set up a car for my kid to race when we rally race, and so that just and so I get to continuously coach him and spend time with him. So it helps. We try and help build character.
Okay.
Like I said in the show we were with you last month, I believe, that. We tried soapbox. We want it to be the most fair and honest form of competition that there is, and so and you got to be mentally tough to do it as well.
Wow.
We were rally racing right here in Lyons this weekend. We had 32 cars between 3 fields, between 3 classifications: stock, super stock, and masters. And so you got to be, the kids got to be focused when they're driving that car down the hill, and that's all it really requires. It's 20% car. And it's 80% driver.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
one of the things that I love about Soapbox Derby, and I think is why it's been kind of ingrained in the culture here, is that it is a very, like you said, fair sport. I mean, the cars, once the kid is in them, weigh almost exactly the same.
They weigh the same. Period.
And then the kid is in the car. Not only do they have to drive well. They have to drive well twice. They have to swap lanes.
Correct.
Drive well in their components lane.
Yeah.
Plus, they have to drive well on their tires.
That's right.
And it's a very equal sport. And I've watched these guys over the years race this sport, and it builds character amongst these racers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not to say that they don't get mad at each other and you know, have this spirit of competition,
right.
but there's such a it's a different type of environment on that hill.
Absolutely.
New racers, I've seen new racers come in with very little knowledge, and you would think in most sports, you as a veteran driver, or in your case maybe Matt as a veteran driver, when you came in, wouldn't give you advice, or maybe even give you the wrong advice.
Right.
You know, put all your weight in the front of the car because that makes you run faster.
Right.
You know, but it's
right.
not the case.
Right.
It is a very community-based sport, because those people are helping those new racers. Those people, I mean, I've seen them share tools. I've seen them share parts. You know, something breaks, they don't have it, or they may not brought it with them. I've seen them share those things with each other.
Yep.
It's a very community, a community feel on top of that.
That's right. Yeah. It is. I mean, it's all about family. I mean, those kids, they all become very close knit. And even though, I mean, just this weekend we had folks from New Jersey.
Yeah.
We had folks from South Charleston, West Virginia. We had folks from Florida. We had folks from Charleston, South Carolina. A brand new racer.
Oh, yeah, wow.
They bought a car. They bought a kit from online, and they're gonna put it together, and they're gonna come racing local because we're their closest local. So I got a phone call from that dad last night. He said, "Man, we had a blast this weekend."
Well, it breaks all barriers.
That's right.
If it can even be possible, it even breaks the barrier of Toombs versus Vidalia.
That is correct.
I mean, I saw like
Those
kids were actually bonding, and they come together, and it levels the playing field, and everybody's working in unity.
That's right.
And it kind of comes out when you're talking about the movie Blue Lightning.
That's right.
It kind of comes out as how it can really pull families together.
It can.
And really kind of help people get through whatever it is they're dealing with.
That's right.
The focus is on this race, and it just brings your spirits up.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. The movie really focused on, I think, not as much the technicality of racing, but more about how families can bond. And I've seen that over the years. I mean, my youngest one raced. My youngest one raced several years ago. God, it's been a while now. 7 years ago, I guess, maybe 6 years ago now. And we enjoyed it. It was a great event. And you're right too. What a lot of people don't realize is, because we are a very large local race, just like you said, you've got people coming from the Carolinas, you've got people coming from South Florida, because we're closer than their other local race, and they compete. We've always said that the local race is for our local kids, but in reality it's not. We cover a huge area.
We sure do.
And I think that's why this, the fact that Southeast Georgia Soapbox Derby as the official Soapbox Derby in Georgia is such a good bill. It's a good move.
That's right.
Because if you're doing Soapbox Derby in Georgia, I don't know that you could race Soapbox Derby without at least racing once on our hill. It'd be hard.
North Georgia does have a local derby.
That's right.
But they don't rally race. They're trying to build that, and then we had folks that race with us all the time. They're part of our racing family, and they were down here rally racing with us this weekend. So now Florida, you've got 3 derbies there. You've got Sanford, you've got Ocala, and Tallahassee. So the Tallahassee folks kind of put theirs back together just recently, like 2 years ago. So, but yeah, they just like you said with the us being the official Soapbox Derby, I feel like we already are the official Soapbox Derby of Georgia anyway.
I mean, if you're on the water tower, you're pretty
you're official. So, but having that, I mean, there was a lot of media coverage in Atlanta. I mean, I had 2 or 3 people call me from Atlanta and said, "Hey, we're looking to do this," and I'm like, "Well, you're welcome to come race with us, but you do have a local right there in Gainesville."
Right.
So and those folks from around the Monroe, Gainesville area, they're trying to build that into what we have down here. So it's pretty amazing what's going on right now.
Well, before we go to break, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I will take the show over.
I mean, of course.
You're talking about our track, And I think that the way that it has, the partnerships that have come together to build the local Soapbox Derby racetrack have built a premier track.
Absolutely.
I have heard racers, racing families, I love that term, that have come. They love racing this track because, number one, it's unique.
Right.
It's very fast.
That's right.
It is. I've heard that from a lot of people. This is probably one of the fastest tracks that they race.
In the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Right. And the setup on Parton Park is so unique. Mm-hmm. And I think once we come back from break, we want to talk a little bit more about that.
Absolutely.
But I do want to bring up one thing.
Okay.
So if me and you were going to create a movie about Soapbox Derby, and we needed a villain,
man, there's only one place to go.
Would we not have chose the Gordy family right off the bat?
Right out the gate.
I mean, it was so, when I was sitting in that theater and I was watching the movie, and they came out, and the first thing out of the little narrator's mouth was, the Gordy family has ruled the race for 7 years. The nemesis of all the racing families. Right. And I saw that logo go by, I'm like, man, they just nailed it right on that. Perfect.
I thought they would actually, when they were doing the filming of that, because it was a couple of years ago when they actually filmed the movie.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And so, and COVID had everything kind of messed up, and and I was going, they'll take our name and everything. They'll just CGI that off, and all that.
No.
And you became the villain.
We became the villain. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I wasn't in the movie because I'd have broke the camera. But
although Noah do some of the stunt driving?
He did all the stunt driving for the villain, so to speak. So when you see Noah Gordy coming, and it shows that clip, that's him driving. Every time you see that blue car coming down the track, that's him in the car.
Look at there.
So they had 2 or 3. We had other kids that were out there driving as well. Alexa Guerin, she was just recognized in Atlanta for her accomplishments in Soapbox Derby. Wow. She's from Villa Rica.
Yep.
So she was down. Her dad Roy are friends with myself and Matt Driggers, and so I think Cash was driving that day. Cash did drive that day in a super stock, and then Alexa drove, and Alexis and Alyssa. So we had a bunch of our kids out there participating, doing the stunt driving.
Yeah, we were recognizing them as we saw them.
I know who that is, and then and then it was cool that they were actually be able to use as race day extras.
Yeah.
So we thought that was pretty awesome. Yeah. And 2 or 3 times I actually got to see Noah, and they took video of him. He's cleaning the axles, and he's washing, wiping the car down like he's an extra racer,
right?
So that was really cool. So it was a cool experience to be able to be a part of that.
I have seen your son come out of the car after he wins the race from time to time, and he does have that sort of villain grin, sort of that laugh, and he kind of does this like he did something.
That's right. That's right.
Well, good. Well, when we come back, I definitely want to talk about our facilities, and because there's some exciting things coming up.
There is,
and I think it's going to change the face of racing in Lyons.
And so for me, I'm just curious to know, Jonathan, how did you actually get into the Soapbox Derby and the racing?
So the youngest son Alex started when they used to do it on the old hill over here. He did it 2 years in a row, and then we got involved with sports and baseball, travel baseball, and all that. And then I'm going to say, I think it was 2017. Michael Williamson was the director at the time, and he said, "Hey, would you mind? Do the boys want to race?" And I'm like, "Well, Alex he doesn't have any interest anymore, so he's not going to race," because they were introducing the super stock that year.
Yeah,
that's 2016 or 2017, one or two. And so it was the last year on the old Derby Hills, what it was.
So Soapbox Derby used to be ran right here at the radio station.
Right down the road right here. That's right. So, but anyway, so that year Noah raced it probably a few weeks later, me and my wife were out of town just as a couple's getaway, and my dad and my mom were keeping the boys. My dad took the boys fishing. Dad asked Noah, said, "Well, Noah, what did you think about the Soapbox Derby? Did you like it?" And he said, "Yeah, Papa, I liked it." He said, "But I think I'd like it more if I had my own car."
Wow.
So, and Dad said, "Well,
that's all it took."
That's all it took.
Well, Papa went and bought a car.
Really,
yeah, absolutely. So, he said, "Well, let's see about getting you a car." And then Alex was I think he was 12 or 13 at the time. He said, "Hold up now, if he gets a car, I get one too." Car. So we get with Michael.
That's just like
we buy two cars.
Jason, whatever he sees me
I
do,
know,
he
Eric,
wants to
I
do.
just want to be like you, Tom.
So we got into it, and we learned how to. Our first race in those cars were, I mean, dude, we didn't have any weight in the cars. We just They were out there with no wraps, no paint or anything. They were just getting in the first rally race of 2018 in January.
Wow.
And then that May we competed in the local. Alex took third in Super Stock.
I remember that.
Wow.
Yeah,
so,
I remember that.
And then he had the bug there, but they didn't want to. Well, I wanted to start kind of traveling then to rally race, but they weren't into it then. But a couple of years later, after Alex decided they get older, 16, I don't want to do this anymore. So he's too cool for Soapbox,
Wow.
So, but Noah wanted to continue on, and then he and I started traveling. And then Matt became our director. Well, Jason and Matt both co-directed 1 year, and
that was an odd year.
Right, that was an odd year. So they directed, and then Matt took it over full time. And then Matt came to me and said, "Hey, listen, you're already here working and helping anyway. So why don't you just come to committee meetings?" And so I started attending committee meetings. Then they voted me on the committee.
Just volunteering your time.
Yes, just volunteering my time.
One of the great things about Soapbox Derby is it is so volunteer driven.
That
a
is
lot
right.
A lot of these activities that happen, there's a lot of paid individuals in this. Soapbox Derby, I have noticed, is people with a passion.
Yep.
And they volunteer their time, and they volunteer a whole heck of a lot of time.
We do.
And the directorship is a tough role.
Yeah.
I know, because I did it, and it was tough back then. It would be even tougher now. But that directorship role is done by volunteers as well.
That's right.
Wow. And it's a great opportunity for community to come together and support. And you don't even have to have a kid to race. You're constantly looking for the Soapbox Derby needs people to drive.
That's correct.
I was asked to drive this weekend.
Trucks.
Yeah, drive a return truck. Heck, if you want to volunteer 3 or 4 hours in an air-conditioned truck, that's the way to do it.
That's
and
right.
then they'll feed you, too.
Yep.
So there's always somebody with snacks.
That's right.
Okay.
Always.
I have noticed that. There's always somebody with snacks.
Yeah, we had a driver this weekend. Something come up, and he couldn't show up on Sunday. I shot Jason a text. I said, "Hey, you may be busy, but can you come help us?" He said, "Hey, let me see if I can tear away from here." But then we had a guy that stepped up that was out there, another parent, that was just like, "Hey, listen, I'm just kind of hanging out and just being supportive. You need us to drive a truck?" Absolutely. And this parent was from North Carolina.
And it does take a lot of people to run that race.
It does.
And the local race, which is coming up,
it's huge.
Takes a whole lot of people to run.
Yeah, it takes more than just a rally race. We can probably run. My son Alex runs the bottom of the hill for us,
right?
And then his girlfriend Emma helps, and then my wife, if she's not working that weekend, she'll be at the bottom lifting cars, loading cars. So it's a family event for us, Now, granted, Alex and my wife are not on committee, but if you're the director, who are you going to recruit to come help? Your family.
Well, it's exciting stuff. I mean,
is.
But so when is the
walk
race?
us through that
When
weekend.
is the next race?
Okay, so our next race is our Southeast Georgia Soapbox Derby. Okay, and that is on April 29th.
Okay.
And so, which is not very far away.
Yeah.
No.
And so, we're still recruiting kids to be drivers. We've got 31 stock cars. We've got 17 of those 31 stock car positions already filled.
Yeah.
And so, still looking for some more. And by the time this airs, we'll probably have a couple more. But so
if they want to race, if my kid wanted to race,
yep.
Where do I go?
So basically, where you would go, either you can call me, you can look up my number on the Soapbox Derby website.
Yep.
I should be listed as the director, and my phone number will be there.
Good.
You can go to the Southeast Georgia Soapbox Derby Facebook page. To get contact information there, you can call the Lyons Main Street office or go by that office, see Miss Daphne. She has applications there for the drivers. Now, granted, it won't cost the drivers anything to race. Now, granted, I have my own car, and so therefore I pay for my, our company pays for the sponsorship of the car.
So if I own a business and I want my car in the race, I do the same thing.
That is correct.
Okay.
And if you call me, even if you're a local business, and you go, hey, we want to be a part of that right there. We want to sponsor a car for a kid. Then we'll make that happen. And then you tell me, hey, I've got a driver for my car.
There you go.
So stock ages are from 7 to 13, super stocks from 10 to 18, and masters is from 10 to 20 years old.
There's nothing better than the announcer off the top of the hill saying the Gordy Enterprise car just took the lead. And
that's
won
right.
the race. Yeah, I mean it's the way it goes though.
That's right.
If you're wanting to sponsor something, it's a great thing to sponsor because whether they do well or not, the kids are just loving it.
Yep.
Absolutely. So always looking for drivers.
So you've got the stock, super stock,
and masters. That'll be the 3 divisions run on race day. The day before that, we will have at 9 o'clock that morning on the 28th, we will have our Super Kids race. That Super Kids are kids with special needs.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And so we have dual seat cars specifically built for that.
Okay.
And they're wrapped in like Marvel characters and Superman and Wonder Woman, and Spider-Man, so
Superman, Batman.
There you go. So, and we have our local kids will actually drive those kids down the hill.
Oh, that's excellent.
So, and those ages are from 7 to 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to have some older, I call them older kids, but they'll be in their 20s that are special needs people that will be out there. We're still going to allow them to race too.
That's good.
Give them some laps down the hill because I think they'll enjoy that. I think some of the folks from the center out here in Lyons, and then they actually have one, I think either in Mount Vernon or Vidalia, that they're going to be coming as well to participate.
Awesome. Oh, man.
So,
that's good
we were just at the end of March, we had some of our soapbox racers with a Super Kids car out at Special Olympics, and we were involved with some of that. I got to be part of the softball or the baseball and the tennis ball toss. Right? Yeah. So I got to run the clipboard and put down how many meters they threw.
You're not such a bad guy.
No, I'm not a bad guy at all.
Somebody walked up to me at the Special Olympics and said, "Here, hold this clipboard." They did not know what they did.
Wow.
I can do a lot with a clipboard. You can get into
so
anything
much
with a clipboard.
That's right.
But yeah, the Super Kids race is an amazing race.
It is. It really is. To see the joy in their faces and just they're having a blast.
Oh yeah.
And just know that you're volunteering
and one of them
time.
gets to go to Akron.
Absolutely, we're going to have a winner.
And they are treated like royalty.
Yeah, that winner will go to Akron as our Super Kids race champion. They call them champs in Akron. When they load in the ramp, good luck, champs. That's exactly what they tell them when they load in. So
we went when I was director. The first year I was director, I took the trip to Akron, and that was an amazing trip to watch that All-American race. And one of the and my wife went. One of the best parts of that day was watching the Super Kids run that race. They loved it.
Yep. Well, in addition to the Super Kids, we've also had some pretty good drivers from our area who have gone on to.
We have a lot of world champions from right here.
And,
when Southeast Georgia shows up, everybody knows they need to get their A game on.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm not saying everybody says Region 7 is so strong. Well, Region 7 is strong because Southeast Georgia Soapbox Derby is strong.
When you drive up the track at Pardon Park, when it's not being used as a Soapbox Derby track, as you top the hill, once you when you look at the ramp, all the champions are listed there, and there's a lot of those names that are also listed in Akron, Ohio.
That is correct. And their cars hang in the Hall of Fame.
And their cars are sitting in there.
And their cars, if they won a world championship. Well, if you win the local world championship,
that's right.
They keep your car. Yeah. So, and they hang it in their Hall of Fame.
And then Friday night is the Run What You Brung.
Friday night is not at 7 o'clock. We'll be Run What You Brung.
Hey, we're going to
need some lights for the track that night.
Actually, no, my car's lit. It's got lights under it, so we don't need any lights. And I've got one that's going to...
That's going to be...
Let me tell you something. Our car is going to be dangerous.
It's going to be a blast.
Yes.
We're going to have... And it's a $30 entry fee, even if you didn't build a car. We've got 2 adult cars.
Okay.
And we're probably going to use...
I'll pay your $30.
And
that's right.
Here's the cool thing.
I will.
And tie this back into what happened in Atlanta as far as our bill to be the Southeast Georgia Soapbox Derby. And we covered this, I think, with you as well, was that the representative from Richmond Hill,
Yeah.
you know, he spoke up and he said, hey, you know, when I was a kid, I wanted to do Soapbox Derby.
Yeah.
And it's the bad thing about it. He said, but I was told I was the wrong skin color.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that about ripped my heart out. It about rips my heart out now, just thinking about it.
Yeah.
So there is no color barrier in soapbox racing.
None of the above.
It does not matter race, religion, creed. It does not matter. You are welcome to come race with us. So
that's true. That's true.
And me and Miss Lisa Hagan were just talking the other day that she's pretty sure that representative, I cannot remember his name at this point in time, but he wants to come race Derby Hill.
Yeah, you gonna let him race Friday night?
Yes. She's gonna be in the car. He's gonna be in the car.
That'll be great.
And they're gonna be going down the track. And there may be some other representatives in the House, and maybe a couple of senators showing up just to make a run down Derby Hill. So it's going to be a really great night.
And I think that's great because his history, that story he told while he was on the floor was really, really well thought out. And the fact that things have changed so much in the world, but especially in soapbox derby racing, I think is amazing.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, as we kind of close this segment out, there's some big news. Big news.
Huge news.
Huge
news. So when the soapbox derby started, a lot of business owners in town all bought cars. They stored them themselves. Then the next year they would find drivers. Well, this thing, whenever Michael Williamson became director, he had a passion for it. And he and his wife Gina, along with Mr. Michael Grimes at Thriftway. Michael Grimes just told me the other day that they had cars that they used a company credit card from Thriftway to buy all the super stock cars.
Don't tell that.
So, but it was awesome. I thought that was awesome. I mean, that man.
Because the race went from 20 cars to 60 cars in
just
years.
In a couple of years, it went from that many, and that was all due to volunteer work and people in this community getting behind and going, you know what, we are soapbox derby,
putting their money where their mouth is.
So, we've never had a derby building.
Okay.
And so we've had people volunteer buildings. Mr. Andy Kimball that owns Truax has been gracious enough for us for a long time to store our cars in the old band room at the old middle school where my parents went to high school, where I went to middle school, I think where you went to middle school.
Well, I went to middle school.
And so
what would a building like this do?
Man, it would
absolutely. So through some partnerships.
Yes, through partnerships with.
If you drive up onto Derby Hill today, right now,
that's right,
you will see a pad and forms, and probably by next week, I'm hearing that there will be concrete on the ground.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And then by that following week, there'll be iron beams in the air.
Yes.
And it is going to be a 60 by 100 building with roll-up doors. That'll have Soapbox Derby plastered all over it.
That's right.
Man.
And
that's
right
a partnership behind the ramp.
Right behind the ramp. A lot of people have come to the table. I know McClendon Enterprises has focused a lot of time. In-kind work. Their equipment's been on that hill for a couple of weeks. I've been watching it. Yep. Advanced Fabrications has been up there. They're going to erect the building. So a lot of community input on this building.
Yes.
And so the building goes up. I love your question. What is it? How does it change?
So what that does is making us where we're centrally located in one spot. We're all of our cars, all of our equipment, everything is there. We no longer have to volunteers have to take a half a day or a whole day off to move equipment. And we don't have to. So for years we've used the Callaway Center as and we may still do that, but as our inspection and where we impound the cars. So after we do the inspection, the week 2 weeks prior to the race, and so now we have our own building to be able to do that.
Wow.
And so, or we will be able to. And so, and that will make it so much easier for volunteers as well. And the great thing about it is now we can start pushing clinics.
Oh, yeah.
The volunteers that race, that are on our committee, we want to start holding clinics for people that, and also, hey, if you have a car, come here, work on your car. You know,
test it out.
I'm not going to give you all my secrets about how I'll set my car up, but I will give you basics and tell you, you know, I've had to learn how to tweak the basics to make it work for me and my son. So, like I said, it's 20% car, 80% driver. And hopefully on those clinic days, we would like to at least have 2 or 3 days a year where we just have clinic days, where we have it and we can set the track up, close the track down for any type of in-through traffic to the park. And it's not a busy day for the park.
Right.
And so, and then they can do their test runs, and then we can be bringing, you know, and bring them back up the hill, and they can make as many test runs as they like.
What a great opportunity for a family that's just getting into racing.
That's right.
You know, nowhere to test their car until the day of the race, and then they're up there and they're having to try to figure out what's wrong with it while they're racing.
Right.
This gives you an opportunity, and also another great opportunity for Soapbox Derby to reach out. Because at that point, if you don't know whether you want to race, that'd be a great opportunity to come up and say,
that is correct.
So what is this all about?
Right.
That's good.
So it's going to change the face of Soapbox Derby racing in Lyons.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mr. Jonathan Gordy.
That's right.
And what a wonderful start to the show.
I think it was the
we
best.
Talked about Soapbox Derby.
I get to come back one day again.
So best of luck on the local. To Noah, let him know.
Absolutely.
And
hey, and any local businesses, if you want to partner with the Soapbox Derby, give me a shout. Call. You can call the Lyons Main Street office.
Do it now.
Do it now. Don't wait. This is an opportunity for you to get involved in a really awesome thing that's going on. And so because anything that you give to us, we invest it right back into kids. We're going to invest it at the track. We're going to invest that into the building. We're going to do everything we can to make this the most prominent race in the United States besides Akron, Ohio.
Excellent.
Yeah, we can move Akron to Lyons.
Well, I agree. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think.
Don't tell Akron. All right, thank you, Jonathan.
Man. Hey, thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being on my show today, Tony.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after Welcome back to this edition, the inaugural edition of the Lyons Pulse. I'm going to get it, man.
I like it.
I'm telling you, man, this is good stuff. Here we are on the Lyons Pulse, and we're just happy to be able to bring this to you every third Thursday of the month at 10 o'clock a.m. right here on Y101. And, you know, we're so thankful for our sponsor.
That's right.
You know, for this show, the Soapbox Derby.
Southeast Georgia Soapbox Derby.
Southeast Georgia.
And the time is getting close. Next week will be probably one of the biggest races of the year. Down Soapbox Derby Hill.
Yeah, in fact, it starts out next week.
Yep.
That Friday morning,
Yep.
we will be having the Super Kids.
Yep.
And then that Friday night, it'll be Run What You Brung, baby.
Yeah, and you know, just be prepared.
Uh-huh.
I have built a very, very fast car.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
I have. No, I'm serious. I have.
I'm sure you have. Man.
It is so fast.
Of course.
It is so fast. I'm not driving it.
Right.
I'm putting my children in it.
Oh,
That's scary. I did require them to wear a helmet.
Wow.
I said, you got to find a helmet, and you guys are riding in it.
Oh, wow. And then Saturday, the next day, the 29th, that's the day of the big race.
That's right.
That's where it's all going to be happening. So,
and if you haven't been to a Soapbox Derby race, it is a phenomenal event. Very family oriented, like we talked with Jonathan before. I mean, it's an extremely family oriented sport. The day, though, is so family oriented. And, you know, if you have the opportunity to come out Friday morning to watch Super Kids race, it will change your life.
Yeah, it is.
It will.
Yeah.
To watch those kids go down the hill, the smiles on their faces, the laughter, it is just a great event. Yeah. It is a great event.
And, you know, as we talk about the Soapbox Derby, there is a bit of trivia that I think everybody should know.
Oh, yeah?
And that is Y101 the radio station right here in Lyons, Georgia, has been the sponsor of the event from its inception in 1993. They have not missed one. They have been there from start to end for 30 years.
Wow. And I know they're on the hill. They sit there. It's funny, every year the weather's different. Some years it's been cold. Now, I've only been here since 13, but some years it's extremely cold.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of rainy races. We've had a couple of very, very hot races.
Yeah.
And they've been there broadcasting the race from the top of the hill each time. And I remember when I first got here in 13, we raced right up here at the top of the hill on Victory Drive. And I believe, if I remember correctly, the tent was at the bottom of the hill, because back then you had to call the winner from the bottom of the hill. And I think they were at the bottom of the hill.
Look at you,
and if I remember correctly, they always placed them over in the ditch where all the mosquitoes were. So if it was a hot summer, they were over there killing mosquitoes.
Well, yeah, it comes with the territory, bro.
That's it. That's the way you have to do it.
Welcome to Lyons.
That's
man.
right.
And you know,
gnats and mosquitoes.
Speaking of 1993 and the Soapbox Derby, excluding the gnats, we have with us in the studio,
this
as we
exciting.
continue to talk about, the events, we have the very first winner of our queen. I'm just going to put it like that.
She is the queen.
She's the queen. She's the original. She is the inaugural.
Wow. That's interesting. That's good. We use that word a lot. We use that word a lot. 1993.
1993. The wonderful,
no,
the
93
beautiful,
was a good year.
The fabulous, the one and the only, none other than Miss Leslie Harrell.
Yes. Thank you for coming. Yes. 1993, I think New Kids on the Block was probably topping the charts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
I remember those days.
Wow.
I remember those days. Yes.
Those were good days. Those were good days.
Well, you're here. You get to hang out with the hosts of the show.
And the wingman.
Mr. Jason Hall, our city manager, and yours truly, the dog.
Yes, I'm glad to be here with y'all.
Yeah.
I really am.
Yeah.
So 93, what were you doing in 93 that made you decide to be a contestant at the Soapbox Derby pageant?
Well, I don't know. I thought it would be fun to go down there and be in the pageant, and that was interesting. It was over here back in the day. It was over here on Victory Drive.
That's right.
And we had hay bales everywhere. Remember that?
Oh, I do remember that. When I was here, it was straw bales. They lined it with straw bales. Pine straw bales. Yeah.
Yes, and we had that, and I remember it was just 4 of us. It was 4 queens.
Oh, really?
Then. We only started out with 4 queens at that time, and now we've gone to 9.
Oh, wow.
Queens. We've it's changed a lot since then. So.
Where did they have the pageant at in 93? Was it still at STC? Because right now you're using the...
It was at STC, and back then we didn't have a queen, so Miss Friday Onion crowned the queen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was how they did it, because it was the first year.
That's cool.
And then after that, did you crown the next queen?
Yes.
Okay.
So the pageant, you just had it back in February, right?
Yes.
So the pageant was held back in February. This was your first year as the director.
Second.
Second year as director. I'm sorry.
Second year.
Give you credit where credit is due. Second year as director. I've heard from several people that the pageant this year was amazing. I also understand that maybe the largest number of contestants in the history of the pageant.
Well, we've doubled it this past year. We had 73 contestants in the pageant.
Wow.
73.
Yes,
and
we had
9 queens.
Contestants.
9 queens.
Wow. So what ages?
It goes from 0 to 21 in there.
Wow. So 73 contestants competing for 9 slots. That's pretty good. That's really
And then we also have to say I'm very impressed with the ones for interview. We go from for junior, teen, and miss for interview, and we had a lot of the ones for junior for one, and that is for optional.
So they don't have to interview?
No, they do not.
Wow.
A lot of them wanted that. And so this year we ended up giving out 2 spots for the winner for interview
Wow.
because they tied. We
One
didn't
of
just
the-
give them one.
I have been involved several times because of my position with the city. I've been asked to come and speak at some of the pageants, and it is an honor to do that. My position sometimes gives me a lot of honors, and I appreciate that. But I got to help with a few of the pageants. I got to MC part of the pageant one year, which was a lot of
wow.
fun. Yeah, it was interesting. But one of the things that impresses me about this pageant is when you look at sort of the rules and when you go to their website and you look at what the contestants have to do or what they're required to do or what makes them a Soapbox Derby queen, it's a little bit different than, not better, not worse, but just different than other pageants that I see. And one of the things I notice on the website is it always refers to, I saw it one time, it said something about natural beauty. You referred to it as something else earlier today. But I thought that was really interesting. And the other thing that most pageants have a scholarship associated with it, but there's actually a scholarship that's associated just with, or there's some prize money, I guess, or scholarship money associated with the interview portion too, correct?
Yes, we have it for the interview and with you winning the pageant, the scholarship. We give out the teen and the miss, they get a scholarship. And it stays with the Lyons Main Street until they go to college. And it goes straight to the college. And it with the interview and the miss, and it also with the first runner-up and second runner-up in the miss division. So they will get a scholarship. The miss gets $1,000 when they win. So that's a great scholarship. We gave out this year over right there at $2,200 for scholarship money just for teen and miss. And so this is a good way for the young ladies to get education. And so we try to help them further their education. But along with this, we believe in them getting out in the community and helping and volunteering with this.
Excellent. Excellent.
So what do they do in the community? I know I saw at the last rally race, your current queen, Emma.
Emma Waters.
Emma Waters.
She was great.
Yeah, she was there. She was walking around. It was funny. I saw her change clothes like 3 times. I don't know. I thought it was kind of Reba-esque. So every time I saw her, she was in something a little different, I think. But she was walking around. She was doing certain things with the contestants. I thought that was really great that they participate in the Soapbox Derby pageant. But you're saying they do things in the community as well?
Yes. The Special Olympics.
Oh, wow.
We go to the Special Olympics. Anytime there's a activity with the schools, anytime we can find something in the community to help with the schools or any kind of function that we can help, we try to help with anybody special.
So you basically oversee that process and kind of work with the various agencies and happenings to make sure that the queens are
So
there.
your job just doesn't happen in February.
No, it's year long. I believe I've always been one of these people. I say, my hands, your hands. We want to help and groom these ladies to know that, it's not just a crown. It comes within your heart.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Well, I saw Emma out there. She was doing an amazing job. She was kind of mentoring some of the racers. Emma raced.
Yes.
I remember her years ago. Well, I say years ago, a couple of years ago. I remember her racing in the Soapbox Derby race. So she understands
So
it
she
from
understood it from the beginning.
she knows it from racing standpoint. So she can speak that language. I think she does a great job there.
She was one of the top 18 in the world champion, and she won the local masters in 2022.
There you
so,
go.
Oh, wow.
So
Look
she
at
was
that.
driving the Masters car. That's great. Emma's a great girl. She's a sweetheart.
And she's the current reigning queen. Okay.
She's the Miss. So she is the I don't know. Can you say the oldest queen?
Yes,
Okay.
she's the Miss Queen.
She's the Miss Queen.
Yeah, Miss
and you have a
Queen,
teen queen.
Yes, Malia Pittman.
Okay.
And she's very good. She went to the Olympics that they had this past 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Was she the one that was with us in Atlanta?
Yes, she
Okay.
went to Atlanta
Okay.
with us.
Exactly. And then after that,
Kinsley Touchton,
what's the title there?
Junior.
So Miss, Teen, Junior.
And then
Keep
there's
going.
6
See, I'm
Okay.
testing her, Tony. I'm
You
testing
are.
her. Here
You
we go.
really
She's
are.
gotta remember
I got to
nine.
You
remember.
are squeezing.
And then
She's
young
got to
is
remember
Brayley
9
Butler.
names. Okay.
Yeah.
Say that again now.
Brayley
Okay.
Butler. She is really, really sweet.
So she's. Let's go in order.
Okay,
So
yeah.
Miss, Junior.
You want me to start with baby? I can go.
Okay, go
how many
baby up.
you want
Let's
me
go
to-
baby up.
You
Go
may-
baby up. Sorry. Go baby up. So
Ruby Rodriguez is the baby miss. And then you got toddler miss, which is Olivia Bryant.
okay.
Okay.
And then you have Laura Lee Marsh, which is little miss. And
Little
then
Miss, I like that.
we got Nora Kate Downey, tiny miss.
Wow, Little Miss and Tiny Miss.
I like it.
Okay, let me tell you about Miss Bella.
Oh.
Now, Miss Bella is going to put you. She is amazing, Bella Hart. Now, she was in the race car this weekend. She was in one of the supercars this
Okay.
weekend. She's
Really?
wanting to race, so we're going.
So what's her title?
Petite?
Petite Miss.
Petite Miss.
So what age range does that? Help me.
7 to 9.
Okay. So that's
Seven.
an age to
Seven.
race according to what
Yeah,
Jonathan
she
told
can
us.
race.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
she is
awesome.
going to now. She got in the car. She wanted to go really fast.
Of
So
course.
she's ready. She is ready to race.
That's great.
So
That is cool.
she's going to go on the 22nd because if anybody wants to get in a car, you can go on the 22nd.
22nd and get your warm-ups or whatever.
Yes,
right?
get the warm then, and you can get a car.
That's
See
awesome.
there, man.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Go, Bella.
Well,
I know. I'm ready to see Bella
Good
race.
for you.
I bet it is a task corralling 2-year-olds
See there.
on a
fun.
stage.
But I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, all right, beauty, then we talk about the scholarships, brains.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're talking about being tough and fast.
That's right. I love it.
Rudy,
Mm-hmm.
brain,
Beauty. I got you. Keep
brains,
going.
and brawn.
I love it. I like it. That is cool. I do think that the Soapbox Derby pageant is a very unique and unique pageant in the way it's ran, in the
That's
way
right.
that you guys kind of pull it together, in the qualifications for the queens. I have met a lot of the Soapbox Derby queens over the years, and they've always been exactly what you're talking about. They've
Mm-hmm.
always been extremely intelligent. I mean, obviously they're beautiful
Right.
inside and out. They do have some toughness to them,
Yeah.
you know, to stand up on that hill. And I remember a few years ago, one of the queens, I was running the starting block. And so she came over and she was running the starting block for a while. And I was like, you just need to do this because you
Right.
got it under control. She was telling them to get ready. She wasn't playing no games. She was like, we're going down the hill whether you want to or not,
Wow.
you know. So it is I think it's a great pageant. You do a great job, Leslie.
Well, thank you.
And congrats on taking your crown from kind of birth to inception. I mean, is that me or you? Sorry. As the queen and then working your way up to the director, I think that is an awesome story, a great story. Are you going to do it next year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yay.
Yes, I've enjoyed this. This is
Awesome.
something I've have a passion for.
So
And I wanna grow it.
can the pageant? So 70. I'm sitting here in my mind thinking about 70 participants.
Plus.
Is that
70 plus
Is that
participants.
I mean, how many participants can you run through a pageant like that?
I want it to grow.
Okay.
I want it to grow. I want this
Wow.
pageant to grow.
Wow.
Yes.
How far away? I mean, what kind of counties do you think the pageant encompasses? Just out of curiosity. I mean, obviously, it's not all contestants from
No, we've
Toombs
had
County.
people from all around. We've got one of the queens is from Monroe, Georgia.
Wow.
She
That's
is
crazy.
from there.
That's excellent.
We want to get people from all around. We want them to know about Lyons, Georgia. We want them to know about the Soapbox Derby.
There you go.
This is something I'm proud of, you know, so I want everybody else to be proud of the Soapbox Derby.
Well, that's awesome.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Yeah,
You've grown
absolutely.
it to where it is today, and that's to be commended. The one and the only, Miss Leslie Harold,
1993.
Well, it takes a team.
the 1993
1993
Queen.
Queen. I love it.
Wow. Wow.
I love it.
Thank you for coming
Absolutely.
in. This is and this is your first interview
Yes.
ever.
You did great.
There's a lot of firsts happening
There
here.
he is.
This
I
is
like
the
this.
first show.
I like this.
We've got the first queen.
That's right.
This is her first interview.
I like it.
You know,
I like it. You
and
did
this is
great.
my first time having a wingman.
He's usually a
Named
solo
Jason
act.
Hall.
Yeah.
You know,
I make him better though.
no doubt.
did good.
No doubt.
Well, thank you, Leslie.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And thank you all for being with us. This has been the inaugural edition of the Lyons Pulse.
That's right.
I'm your host, the Doc, and here's your other host.
Yeah.
None other than Jason Hall.
That's right. We enjoyed it.
It's pretty good.
It's gonna be hard to
brother.
top this next month.
Yeah,
We'll
but
have to go out and search for some.
but you guys got to come back and see how we do.
That's true. That's true.
For the
Absolutely.
second go round. I mean, we won't have the Queen with us.
No.
Bummer. But we'll see. We'll see.
Absolutely.
But this has been great, man.
Absolutely.
All
Enjoyed
right.
it.
Well, thank you. Come back again. Again, we want to thank our sponsor, the Soapbox Derby.
That's right.
And we want to thank Y101 for all that it does and all that it's doing for the community as well.
Absolutely.
Come back again and join in with us here on the Lyons Pulse
Like
with
it.
your host, Jason Hall, and the Doc. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.